Welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're going deep into David Deutsch's The Beginning of Infinity.
Sounds fun.
We've got excerpts focusing on explanations and scientific progress, and a bit of a mind-bending philosophy, too.
Right.
You ready to tackle some big questions
Yeah, let's do it.
about knowledge and the universe and everything?
Absolutely.
So imagine you're looking through a telescope at a distant galaxy, billions of light years away. How do we actually know what we're seeing? I mean, we can't exactly hop in a spaceship and go check it out.
Right, and this is where Deutsch's idea of explanations comes in. He argues that scientific theories are more than just guesses.
Okay.
They're powerful explanations that connect our observations. To the vastness of reality, think of them as bridges between what we see and the underlying truth of the universe.
Okay, so it's not just astronomers making stuff up about stars and galaxies.
Right.
There's real substance behind these explanations.
Exactly. Deutsch argues that good explanations have a special quality. They're hard to vary.
Hard to vary. I'm intrigued. Unpack that for me.
It means that a good explanation fits the evidence so well that if you change even a small part of it, the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
It stops making sense. It's like a finely tuned machine. Mess with one gear and the whole thing grinds to a halt.
So it's not like changing a character in a story. You can't just swap out details and have it still work as an explanation.
Precisely. Let's compare the ancient Greek myth of Persephone, explaining the changing seasons, to the scientific explanation.
Okay.
In the myth, Hades kidnaps Persephone, Demeter grieves, and winter comes. When Persephone returns, spring arrives.
Yeah, I remember that one. Classic myth. But it's not exactly a scientific explanation, is it?
Right. It's easily variable. You could swap Persephone for a stolen magical lyre, and the explanation for summer and winter would stay the same. There's no real connection to the Earth and the Sun.
Whereas with the axis tilt explanation, we know the Earth is tilted on its axis, and that tilt, combined with Earth's orbit, causes the seasons. You can't just swap Earth's tilt with Zeus's mood, can you?
Exactly. The axis tilt explanation is hard to vary because it's grounded in the laws of physics and celestial mechanics. These explanations go beyond just describing what we see. They allow us to make predictions about things we haven't observed directly.
So these hard-to-vary explanations are kind of like a launch pad for scientific progress. They don't just explain what we know. They point towards what we could know.
You got it. And that's what we'll explore next. How this reach of explanations connects to the incredible progress humanity has made and could make in the future.
So we've established that good explanations have this incredible reach, allowing us to predict things we haven't directly observed. This feels like it's setting the stage for some serious progress.
Yeah, it is.
Where does Deutsch take this idea?
He takes it to a fascinating place, arguing that this ability to create and apply knowledge is what makes us universal constructors.
Universal constructors. That sounds pretty grand. Are we talking about like
Big
building
fun.
spaceships and colonizing other planets?
That's certainly part of it. The idea is that we're not limited by our current environment or resources. We can use knowledge to transform our surroundings, even beyond Earth. Think about it. We went from using stone tools to building the internet in a remarkably short period of time, cosmically speaking.
It's true. Pretty mind-blowing when you put it that way. Though I have heard this idea that we should think of Earth as spaceship Earth, a fragile vessel with limited resources that we need to carefully manage.
That's a common view, but Deutsch challenges it. He says seeing ourselves merely as passengers on a fragile spaceship underestimates our potential. We're not just passengers, we're the engineers.
Yeah.
We can create solutions to the challenges we face, even ones that seem insurmountable right now.
Okay, I love that perspective. So how do we actually create this knowledge that makes us such capable engineers? Is there a formula for unlocking these breakthroughs?
It starts with a simple yet powerful act guessing. Deutsch calls it conjecture. We come up with an idea, a hypothesis, and then put it to the test through rigorous criticism and experimentation. The cycle of conjecture and refutation is the engine of scientific progress.
So we're constantly guessing, checking, and refining our understanding of the universe. It's a never-ending process of discovery.
Yes, and the evolution of that creative process is fascinating in itself. Deutsch suggests that creativity might have emerged in early humans as a way to be unnoticeably different in a static society.
Unnoticeably different. That sounds counterintuitive. How would that even work?
Imagine a society where tradition is everything. Any deviation from the norm is met with suspicion or even punishment.
Yeah.
In that environment, those who could subtly improve existing practices without seeming to break the rules would have had an advantage.
I see. They could innovate while still blending in. With the status quo, it's like mastering the art of subtly improving the existing system without rocking the boat.
Exactly. By becoming exceptionally good at enacting existing memes, individuals could gain status and influence without challenging the established order. This, Deutsch argues, laid the foundation for abstract thought and problem-solving, ultimately driving progress.
Speaking of memes, I found Deutsch's idea that humans don't just imitate, but ape meaning particularly fascinating.
It's a subtle but crucial distinction. Parrots might imitate sounds, and apes might copy actions, but only humans. Try to understand the underlying ideas behind behaviors. We don't just want to copy what we see we're driven, to figure out the why.
It's the difference between a child mimicking the sounds of adult conversation and a child asking, "Why is the sky blue?" One is simple imitation, the other is a quest for understanding. That inherent curiosity, the drive to make sense of the world, fuels our creativity and our capacity for progress.
Precisely. And that drive, coupled with the reach of our explanations, leads us to one of the most mind-boggling implications of Deutsch's ideas, the multiverse.
Okay, you mentioned the multiverse. This is where I think things start to get really wild. We're talking about multiple universes, right?
Yes, it's a mind-bending concept that comes out of quantum mechanics, suggesting that our universe is just one of many. Perhaps infinitely many.
Whoa, infinite universes. Okay, so are we talking parallel worlds here? Like, is there a universe out there where I'm a rock star?
Not exactly parallel worlds in the way science fiction often portrays them. It's more nuanced than that. Deutsch explains it using the idea of a transporter malfunction that creates a duplicate of a person. According to the laws of physics, this duplication shouldn't be a problem because all logically possible outcomes of those laws must exist somewhere in the multiverse.
So every time there's a chance of something happening, a new universe splits off where that possibility becomes reality. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure on a cosmic scale.
It's not so much about universes splitting off as it is about information constantly branching and merging.
Okay.
Imagine a vast interconnected web of possibilities, all playing out simultaneously.
Okay, so maybe not separate universes running parallel to each other, but more like this swirling interconnected network of information, where every possibility is unfolding.
That's a helpful way to visualize it. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Deutsch argues that even though individual histories within this multiverse are distinct, they still influence each other.
Okay.
He uses a classic physics experiment to illustrate this, the double slit experiment.
Oh yeah, I remember learning about that. You fire a single photon at a screen with two slits.
Yeah.
And the photon somehow goes through both slits simultaneously, creating an interference pattern.
Exactly. What's fascinating is that this suggests that the path not taken still affects the path that was. The fact that the photon could have gone through one slit or the other impacts the final outcome, even though it ultimately passes through both.
So even though these possibilities are unfolding in this web of information, they're not completely independent of each other. They're still interconnected in some way.
Yes. And this leads to another crucial point. Even with infinite universes, it doesn't mean anything goes. The laws of physics still hold.
Right.
And those laws are, as Deutsch puts it, computable.
Yep.
This means they can be described by algorithms.
So there's still an underlying order to the universe, even with all these infinite possibilities.
Exactly. Our universe is knowable because its laws are computable, but there are limits. Not all mathematical functions are computable.
What?
Meaning that some truths about the universe, even in principle, will always remain beyond our grasp.
So even with infinite universes, there's a limit to what we can know. That's humbling in a way.
It is. But think of the vastness of what we can know. We are, as Deutsch's title suggests, at the beginning of an infinity of knowledge.
It's like standing on the shore of an endless ocean. Overwhelming, but also incredibly exciting. So much to explore, even if we can't see it all.
And if we are truly universal constructors, capable of shaping not only our own future, but potentially the future of the universe itself, what does that mean for our responsibilities? What kind of future will we choose to create?
That's a powerful question to leave us with. Yeah. If you want to explore these ideas further, and I highly recommend that you do, check out David Deutsch's The Beginning of Infinity. It's a mind-expanding journey into the nature of knowledge and the boundless potential of human reason.
It's a book that challenges you to think differently about the universe and our place within it.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of ideas.